Today is Friday, March 27th. We've made it through the week. Woohoo! We are continuing with whole number by decimal number multiplication, starting to get into a little bit of decimal by decimal multiplication today. Again, just make sure your microphone's turned off unless you're called to speak on. Make sure that you have headphones or earbuds to help eliminate distractions around you. And then kicking off with our warm-up, we have a pot of gold and a St. Patrick's Day hat. Go ahead and pause the video until you figure them out. The pot of gold is worth 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Down at the bottom, you have 4 times the St. Patrick's Day hat equals 12. The St. Patrick's Day hat is 3. Then you have 4 times 4 plus 3. So I know that 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. Therefore, the answer at the bottom is 19. Today's lesson will be whole number by decimal number multiplication. We'll also get into decimal times decimal multiplication as well. Alright, our last lesson today on multiplying whole numbers and decimal numbers. Then we're also going to get into decimal times decimal. We're going to look at one more word problem and go ahead and pause it so you can take the chance to read it now. Lisa is training for a marathon. She runs 3 6/10 kilometers on weekdays after school and 5 3/10 kilometers on Saturday and Sunday. What is the total distance Lisa runs in 1 week? So I'm going to circle my numbers with my pink. And I'm going to do a better job in this video of underlining my words that I know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to do those in orange. Alright, so here's what I've got so far. I've got 3 6/10 circled and 5 3/10 underlined or circled. And then I've got she runs, because that's what the problem's about. Weekdays. I know that weekdays are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then she runs a different distance on Saturday and Sunday. So for weekdays, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days in a week, she runs 3 6/10 kilometers. So that's the first thing that I'm going to figure out is 3 6/10 times 5. Now, if you're feeling comfortable, go ahead and work that problem out on your own. Pause the video and see if you get the same answer as I do. Okay. First thing I'm going to do again is kick my decimal out. I'm going to do that with pink. And I'm going to note it over to the side that I kicked it out one time. And then I'm going to go ahead and just solve it in pink too. So I know that 6 times 5 is 30, 0 down, 3 goes up, 5 times 3 is 15, 16, 17, 18. So I get 180, but I can't forget to add that decimal back in one time. So add it back in. I get 18. So during the weekday, she runs 18 kilometers. Okay? Then I have to figure out how much she runs on Saturdays and Sundays if she runs 5 3/10 kilometers. So Saturday, Sunday, that's 2 numbers. So I'm going to multiply 5 3/10 times 2. I'm going to kick it out one time again to make it a whole number. And then I'm going to multiply. So 3 times 2 I know is 6. 2 times 5 I know is 10. Add that decimal back in there. One place. I get 10 6/10 on Saturday and Sunday. Sat and Sun is what I'm going to write that as. Okay. Now, my question asks me, what is the total distance Lisa runs in 1 week? Total distance. What do I have to do with 18 and 10 6/10? I've got to add them up. So I'm going to do that down here on the bottom. 18.0 plus 10 6/10. And we know that anytime we add 2 decimal numbers, I have to make sure the decimal is lined up and I drop it straight down where it is, just like that. So I'm going to add 0 plus 6, 6, 8 plus 0, 8, 1 plus 1 is 2. So 28 6/10 kilometers is what she runs in 1 week. 28 6/10 kilometers. Just like that. Okay? Now, looking ahead, next week we're going to begin to talk about multiplying 2 decimals. I know yesterday in the video I felt like I kind of rushed through it. So today I want to break it down a little bit more. to help you guys hopefully understand. I have pre-created 2 hundreds boards over here on my whiteboard, and I'm going to come up with 2 problems for both of these. So I am going to say two tenths times 3/10. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to shade in 2/10 of my decimal grid. So I'm going to go vertically with this. So here's 1/10 shaded in, here's 2/10 shaded in, just like that. Okay, now next thing I have to do horizontally is shade in my 3/10. So here is 1/10, 2/10, and 3/10. And if you'll remember correctly, when we were doing our warm-up with the base 10 blocks, we talked about how each of these little tiny squares represent hundredths. They don't just represent ones. So I have to count the overlapping pieces. So my purple area, because it's what red and blue makes together, I have to count those pieces that are covered in both red and blue. So when I do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces are covered in both red and blue, but remember the value isn't just 6. It is 6 hundredths. So the answer to 2/10 times 3/10 is equal to 6 hundredths, which that's how we would write that value there, 0.06. Okay? If I look at another one down here, let's do 4/10 times 3/10. So first thing I'm going to do with my red is I'm going to go ahead and shade in 4/10. So here's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. And next I'm going to take my blue horizontally and do 3/10. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. There. Again, I'm going to count the number that's overlapping, the number that's shaded in both blue and red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Answer's not just 12, it is 12 hundredths, 0.12. Please remember you can always see me during office hours and ask me any questions that you have on any of these videos. Activity number 1 is Kahoot. This will be a 5th grade Kahoot. You'll compete against everybody in 5th grade using that code. You can go ahead and log on to kahoot.it to complete it. Then, hashtag Fun Fridays. We're going to keep it moving, and we are going to have you guys work on Prodigy today. In Prodigy, you should be getting assignments that are based on multiplication, whether it's 2 whole numbers, whether it's a decimal number and a whole number, anything like that. Those should be multiplication. So work through those and enjoy your 20 minutes there.